Hi, I'm Tamitha with your solar storm forecast for the week of July 7th. The sun started off this week in a spectacular fashion. It gave us a beautiful M1.4 flare you can see right here from region 2106 that seemed to set the stage for a lot of activity and maybe even some earthward directed solar storms, and then nothing. If we go to our M-flare threat level chart, you can see there's that M1.4 flare, and then right after that, it's been nothing but crickets. We're sitting here at the seafloor waiting for anything to pop, and nothing is happening. The only thing we've got to report is we've got a coronal hole that's coming around here that should be giving us some fast-speed solar wind anytime within the next day or two. But other than that, we kind of have to just watch for filament eruptions. You can see a few up here in the north, where there's actually 1, 2, 3 of them happening, but pretty much nothing else is going on but that. And if we take a look at the solar wind, you can see these regions in purple here do show that we are still getting solar storms from things like the filament eruptions I showed you just a few moments ago. We got something on the 28th, also on the 30th, and again on the 3rd, and they are enough to bring us some beautiful aurora clear down in British Columbia, Canada, and in Minnesota, and also in Montana. So let's take a peek at what the sun has in store for us. This is stereo B, it's a backside monitor. You can see here's Earth, here's the sun, and here's stereo B looking from behind. And you can see the sun is pretty much blank on the backside, though all the activity is happening on the east limb. Now if we switch to science grade maps that show all of the active regions all over the sun, you can see I've highlighted a region right here that's going to show a lot of new growth coming around. And you see all those little white dots, those are new sunspot regions that are forming, and that means new flare activity could be on the horizon for us. Now returning to the disk, you can see it's already a peppered sun. We have region 2106. That was the source of that M1.4 flare, but that region has since stabilized. Now, but regions 2104, 2107, 108, and 109 are considered a beta-gamma configuration, so they're magnetically unstable. Plus all that clustering means that there could have some synergy. So if we expect to see some M-flares, it could very well happen from those regions. And expect all of this to get busier in the coming days as more regions rotate into view that are still on the backside. And I just want to show you that even though we haven't had any really big flares, there's still a lot of electromagnetic activity going on with these regions. You see all that lightning? That's a lot of magnetic reorganization. And it's not just happening within the regions, it's happening between the regions as well. So there's a lot of potential for really big flares. And remember, those big flares are what cause satellite communication issues and sometimes radio blackouts that can last for hours. So looking at our solar flare and particle radiation storm outlook, because of all of the active regions that have been rotating onto the disk this week, even though we've only had one M-class flare, NOAA is keeping the M-class flare risk up at 70% with an X-class flare risk of about 15%. And of course the regions to watch are 2104, 107, 108, and 109. But that could easily change as more regions rotate onto the disk. Looking at the solar storm conditions and aurora possibilities over this coming week, we do have a coronal hole that should be bringing us some fast-speed wind, and that should be hitting us within the next couple of days. So at high latitudes, expect maybe a 15 to 20% chance of minor storm conditions over the next couple days with aurora possible. At mid-latitudes, maybe a little bit less active, but maybe potential for aurora early on and then tapering off. So this week looks to have a lot of potential, at least in terms of flares, because of the absolute massive number of active regions that are transiting the disk this week and possibly into next. So you ham radio operators, expect to have a possible radio blackout if the M-flare activity begins to increase. Also, we do have that coronal hole that's sending us that fast wind, and that should be hitting us within the next day or so. So people, especially at high latitudes, expect to have maybe a possibility for aurora, but also your GPS or location-based services may be glitchy over the next day or so. But everybody at mid-latitudes, at least thus far, it looks to be smooth sailing. I'm Tamitha. Thank you for watching.